Hello friends, it's Miss Anna from the Council Bluffs Public Library and I'm here with you today for an episode of Storytime Anytime. Now today I would like to tell you a traditional folk tale, and that's what we call a story that has been passed down from one family member to the next, to the next, to the next for years and years and years, for so long that in some cases we don't actually even know where the stories started. There is some evidence that this story started in a country called Norway, which is all the way on the other side of the world. There's also evidence that this story started with Native American tribes, which were the first people to live right here in the United States. So it might be a Norwegian story and it might be a Native American story. But either way, it's a story about a bear. Have you ever seen a bear before? Now, I've never seen a bear in the wild, but I have seen a bear at the zoo. Have you? Well, if not, either way, I have a bear here with me today. You see my bear? Now, can you tell me, does the bear have a short tail or a long tail? The bear has a very, very short tail, right? Now, I can tell you, by telling you our story, why bears have very short tails, and I also can tell you why sometimes you might hear a bear growling in the woods. So long ago, Bear actually had a long, beautiful, bushy tail that looked just like this. And Bear was so proud of his long, beautiful, bushy tail. He would swish this way and swish it that way. He would wave it all around, showing it off to anyone who would pay any attention. Now this, my friends, made the fox feel very annoyed. Because, you know, the fox also has a long, beautiful, bushy tail, but the fox didn't go around bragging about it to everybody who would listen. So one day, the fox decided that he was going to have a little fun with the bear. He got a sly, sneaky smile on his face because he had figured out a trick he could play on the bear. So it was a cold, cold winter day, and Fox went down to the frozen lake. And when Fox got to the lake, he cut a hole in the ice. And then, because he knew that Bear loved fish, Fox put a pile of fish on the ice next to that hole because he knew that Bear would be along any minute hoping to have some of that fish. And the fox was right. A few minutes later, along came Bear, swishing his beautiful long bushy tail behind him. And he said, "Oh, Fox, I am hungry for dinner and those fish look delicious. May I have some?" "You may not," Fox said, "but I can teach you how to catch your own." "Would you?" Bear said. "That would be wonderful." "Well, I've already caught all the fish here," Fox said, as he collected his large pile of fish. "But," Fox said, "I would be happy to take you to another spot on the ice where you may catch some fish." And so the two went off to another part of the lake. Now this was a spot on the lake where Fox knew that there would be no fish to catch. Very sneaky, right? Yeah. And so when they got there, Fox cut a new hole in the ice. And he told Bear to put his long, beautiful, bushy tail down in the water. And once he did, he should sit very, very still. Well, Bear was very excited about the thought of a delicious fish dinner, and so he did just as Fox told him to do. He lowered his long, beautiful, bushy tail into the cold, cold water, and he settled himself down on the ice to sit very, very still. "Fox," Bear said, "how will I know when I've caught a fish?" "Well," Fox said, "until you get used to what it feels like, I would be happy to help you. I will stand behind you and yell, 'Now!' when you have caught a fish, and then you can pull your tail out of the water as hard as you can. Well, Fox came around behind Bear as if he was going to help him. But do you know what Fox actually did? Fox very quietly snuck home and went to bed. Well, Bear sat and he sat. He waited and he waited. He was so still. It was getting very late. And eventually, Bear fell fast asleep. Now, in the morning, Fox came creeping back to the lake. He quietly came up to Bear and saw that he was sleeping. And do you know what Fox did? He yelled, "Now!" And Bear woke up with a start. He heard what Fox had said, and he pulled as hard as he could until snap! He jumped right out of the lake. He thought that the snapping sound must have been the sound of the fish on his tail, and so he turned around and looked. But what did he see? No fish. He looked down at the ice and he saw that while he was sleeping, the water had frozen around his long, beautiful, bushy tail, and now he had no fish and he had no tail. Well, Bear growled at Fox. Growl! And Fox went running off as fast as his feet would carry him, laughing all the way. Well, after that, Bear went back to his den and settled in for a proper winter's nap. He learned to live his life with a short tail, and he spent his life happy. But if one day you hear a bear growl, you can be sure it's probably because he's seen a fox. And that, my friends, is the story of why the bear has a short tail. So my friends, in our story today, our bear never did get anything to eat, did he? And you remember he was hungry for dinner, wasn't he? So I would like for us to do a little rhyme together where maybe the bear can find some food to eat, okay? All right, so I'm going to go through this rhyme with you and show you all of the actions, and then we'll do it again so that we can be sure we can do it all together, okay? So we're gonna start out by patting our hands on our legs just like this. A big brown bear went in search. Can you put your hand above your eyes so you can search? Went in search for some honey. Isn't it funny? We're going to put our hands out like we're asking a question. Isn't it funny? A bear wanting honey? He sniffed. Use your nose to make a sniff sound. At the breeze. And he listened. So put your hands up by your ears. He listened for some bees. And wouldn't you believe it? So we're going to shake our finger in the air like this is so unbelievable. Wouldn't you believe it? He even climbed trees. So can you put your hands up in the air back and forth like you're climbing, just like a big bear, okay? All right, so let's start that right back from the beginning. Are you ready? We're going to pat our legs together. A big brown bear went in search for some honey. Isn't it funny? A bear wanting honey? He sniffed at the breeze and he listened for some bees. And wouldn't you believe it? He even climbed trees. Well, my friends, do you think he found some honey to eat? I think he definitely did. He did all the right things, right? He used his eyes, his ears, his nose, and he used his touch to climb the trees. So he used lots of his different senses to find what he was looking for. And eventually, I think he got to taste some honey, right? Can you go like this? Yum, yum, because he found some honey. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. I hope you had fun in Storytime Anytime, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.